As Superintendent Smith indicated, we've been working very hard with the Portland Association of Teachers to try and reach a negotiated settlement. At the same time, it's our obligation as a board to prepare for strike and to provide safe learning environments for all of our students. To that end, the staff has prepared a resolution temporarily delegating certain authority to the superintendent. I'm going to ask Director Belisle to read through that resolution, and then we will consider it as a board.
Great. Thank you, Director Knowles. And this resolution will be posted on the website after our meeting for those who are looking for it or interested in it. This is resolution number 4872, temporary delegation of authority. We're going to start with the recitals. Recital A, between April 2013 and February 2014, the Portland Public School District, the district, and Portland Association of Teachers, Association, or PAT, engaged in collective bargaining for a successor collective bargaining agreement. The prior collective bargaining agreement between the district and the association was effective through June 30th, 2013. Recital B. The association held a strike vote on February 5th, 2014. On February 6th, 2014, the district received notice that the PAT intended to call a strike that would commence on February 20th, 2014. Recital C. It is the board's goal to reach a negotiated settlement with PAT. However, the district must also plan in the event that the PAT chooses to strike. Recital D. More than 48,000 students attend PPS schools, and the district provides 11,000 school breakfasts, 21,000 school lunches, and 3,000 suppers to students every day. The Board of Education believes that providing a safe and secure environment during a strike is important to the educational interests, health, safety, and welfare of our students. The board is charged by law with the management, recital E. The board is charged by law with the management and control of school district grounds and other property, preservation of health, safety, and education of students within this school district, the maintenance and preservation of educational opportunities and facilities, and the dedication of school district property to the educational uses for which its properties are intended. Recital F. The existence of a strike emergency circumstance requires the expenditure of funds for temporary replacement personnel, other personnel, and other expenses such as services, materials, and supplies. Recital G. The district will need to employ personnel, including temporary replacement workers for the striking employees, in order to operate the schools under the emergency circumstances caused as a result of a strike. Recital F. Funds were not specifically appropriated for strike emergency purposes in the 2013-14 budget, as this emergency could not have been foreseen at the time of preparation of the budget. Resolution. Resolved 1. The Board of Education declares that a state of emergency now exists as a result of the February 6, 2014 notice from the Portland Association of Teachers. The board declares that this state of emergency will exist until the board terminates it by resolution. Resolved 2. The board authorizes the expenditure of funds as may be necessary pursuant to ORS 294.3383. Such expenditures may include, but are not limited to, payment of wages to and transportation and safety of personnel. To the extent the expenditure of such funds are not covered by existing appropriations, they are deemed appropriated from the general fund operating contingency. The foregoing funds may be dispersed for such purposes. Following the termination of the state of emergency, the superintendent will provide a report to the board regarding the expenditure of funds under this resolution. Resolved 3. The board authorizes that in the state of emergency, the superintendent is authorized to temporarily suspend the operation of select district policy and/or district administrative regulations necessary to provide the best feasible program and services for students under emergency circumstances. Resolved 4. In the state of emergency, the board delegates to the superintendent or her designee authority pursuant to District Public Contracting Rule PPS 4502004B D, to execute district contracts that she deems necessary to address the state of emergency. These contracts will also be reported to the board as part of the regular contracting report. Resolved 5, in the state of emergency, the board delegates to the superintendent the authority to develop and adopt regulations as guided by state and federal law regarding public access to school district property in order to provide for the security of students, staff, and facilities. Resolved 6, the board further directs that if the superintendent finds there is a concern for the health, safety, or welfare of the students, public, or personnel, the superintendent or her designee will have the authority to temporarily close any district school facility and/or consolidate the students and programs to another location. And finally, resolved 7, the board further directs this resolution to take effect immediately.
Thank you, Director Blau.
Yes.
The board will now consider Resolution 4872, temporary delegation of authority. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved. Second.
Director Regan moves and Director Adkins seconds the motion to adopt Resolution 4872. Is there any board discussion of the resolution? Director Buell?
Well, I'm not in favor of trying to keep all of our schools open. I think there's better plans. I just wanted to point out that I'm voting for this resolution. It's just merely a resolution which says, as we go forward, if there's a strike, that the superintendent can do what she needs to do to keep kids safe and to make things go clear. So this isn't something that anybody should get upset about. This is just good stuff. And so I'm kind of shoving that out there for people who are paying attention to this stuff carefully. This is, even the part where it talks about dealing with people on the property, carefully, there's not going to be anybody out there taking away anybody's basic First Amendment rights. And so there you go, for what that's worth.
Thank you. Other board members?
I agree with what Director Buell was saying, but I would just like to say to the board and to PAT leadership how truly embarrassing it is that we even have to consider this. I mean, as a community, it's really quite sad, honestly. So,
Thank you. Director Blau?
I agree with what both my colleagues have said, but I also just want to assure our community that while we're taking these steps, we are still looking for negotiated settlement, but that we do take very seriously the safety and security of our students and families, and we understand the challenges this will present and the impact this will have on our community. And I just want to let folks know that we are pursuing both tracks with due diligence and commitment, because we have to plan for both. Obviously, we prefer one, but in the event we find ourselves in a situation to need the emergency delegation, I just want to assure folks that staff are diligently planning for that, and we as a board are taking that really seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Director Atkins?
I'd agree, and just want to add thanks to all the staff at all levels of the district who are working really hard to deal with obviously an extremely challenging situation, but just appreciate that. And again, thank you for clarifying that. And thank you, Director Buell, for your remarks. I appreciate that a lot.
Director Regan?
I also just wanted to add that as Oregon's economy improves and as the state legislature is finally starting to reinvest in education, it's just so sad to me that we're at this point in time. It seems to me that we as a community could have come together and celebrated that. We know that during the next budget cycle, we are going to be investing more in our schools. We finally have the ability to invest more. We're going to add instructional days. We're going to add teachers. We know that the workload issues are probably as low as they've been, where they're going to get better all the time. It's inconceivable to me that we are at this place in time right now that we're facing a strike. It makes no sense for our kids and our community. Through the budget process, we are going to be adding teachers. We're going to be helping in terms of the workload issues. We're looking at added instructional time. We ought to be holding hands and celebrating.
I
Carter?
just only add that I think it's all of our expectations that we will be doing that very soon. And, you know, appreciate your update, Superintendent Smith, on negotiations. And it's certainly our firm belief that we can get there. Certainly hasn't been easy. It certainly hasn't been pretty. But we all believe we can get there. So thank you.
Yes. I guess I just want to thank all my colleagues. I agree with all of you. I would really love to be celebrating right now, and I'm looking forward to and very hopeful that we reach this negotiated settlement. So if there's no more discussion, let's go ahead and vote on Resolution 4872. All in favor, please indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
All opposed, please indicate by saying no. Are there any abstentions? Resolution 4872 is approved by a vote of 7-0 with Student Representative Davidson voting.
Yes.
Thank you very much, everybody.